Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Martin Jackson. I'm the chairman of the Art Society of Soho, which is how I know Annie, but I'll come on to that in a moment. What I wanted to do tonight, before we have a look around, is talk about the reason why we're here, if you like. Which is always an interesting question. I mean, we've probably got a good idea as to why we're here, but the more philosophical question as to why we're here is a bit more interesting in the context of tonight. There are, I believe, about 1.7 million sentient creatures, species on this planet, of which we're one. That's everything from tigers to ants to termites to gorillas, if you like. And all of them are on this planet for one reason only. They're here to procreate and die. Shag and fuck off, if you like. And that is the only reason we, as one of those sentient creatures, is on this planet. This soggy little pebble floating in space. No other reason. Everything else is surplus to requirements, including art. Totally surplus. One of those creatures, us, we, mankind, does something that none of the other 1.7 million does. It decorates, it's been called. We decorate. We like to put things in order in terms of colour, size, ratio and things like that. And this need to decorate that mankind does has led us to spend an awful lot of time and effort doing it. No other creature does it. I mean, I know you can throw the bowerbird and the clownfish at me, but actually they only make those big colourful nests and those little sand castles to get laid, and then they die. But mankind doesn't. It will invest an enormous amount of time in organising colour, shape, ratios, space, etc. Creating things, if you like. Art. Jewellery. Oh, jewellery. Don't get me started on jewellery. Complete and utter waste of time. Adorning yourself with elements from the earth. Doesn't do anything at all. Fashion, that's another ridiculous waste of time. However, as mankind, investing all this time in creativity, if you like, maybe that's the reason why we're here. Maybe that's why we are, if you like, the primary species. We are running things on Earth because we are doing more than just procreating and dying. We're actually creating. And maybe that's one of the key reasons why we're on this planet. It certainly differentiates us from everyone else. And maybe that creativity is some sort of higher order. It certainly makes us unique. And it is certainly the reason why we're here tonight. Of all the species on this planet, only one creates. And of those 7.7 million of us on this planet, we're here to look at one of those who creates. Annie, who has been working with me and supporting the Art Society for a number of years. She's exhibited in a number of our shows, slightly contentiously at times.
Don't know what you mean.
Read the book, it's all in here. We're here to celebrate Annie's unique view on the world, on culture, her exploration of her approach to culture, which goes back right the way through to the beginnings of art, if you like. You know, from Hogarth to Gerald Scarfe, the whole notion of examining cultural icons in a satirical way, would you say?
Yes.
And that is, you know, very much at the core of her work. So to kick things off, I'd like to ask Annie a question to start with. Certainly it's possibly the pachyderm in the room, the elephant question, which is, Annie, do you actually like the royal family?
Right, thank you, Martin. Funny you should ask me that, because somebody's already just asked me that this evening, so you're absolutely right on the money. That is one of the questions, the elephant in the room, as they say. Just before I give you an answer, can I just ask, if anyone has a flash on their camera, can you turn the flash off for me, please? Sorry, thank you about that. So I made a couple of notes just to help me.
Right.
And
Speak up.
Speak up.
Stand up, and then I'll hear you from the back.
Stand up. So I'm answering the question, do I like the royal family? I've just been asked. So, well, yes is a summary answer. I am a kind of fan. I'm certainly not against the royal family. I particularly love the ceremony and the costumes, as you can probably see from Jenny's work, rather than the individual characters. The ceremony and the costumes make great material for my work from a visual point of view. But I also think the royal family, they do add something to our culture and to our nation's history. And so, in a sense, they give us that. However, I don't think that the royal family are above criticism or satire, because they are in the public domain. And I thought it would be interesting, so I actually looked up the dictionary meaning of what is satire, what does it mean? And it says it's the use of humour, irony, exaggeration or ridicule to expose and criticise people's stupidity or vices. And that's what the dictionary says. But I would rather say people's weaknesses or negative aspects, which of course we all have. And I think it's when we recognise those aspects that I'm highlighting, when we recognise those in ourselves, that's when there is the potential for us to find it funny. Because at the end of the day, they're all human, and they're not perfect, as perhaps we are meant to think some of them are. So what I'm doing in these works is I'm combining aspects of paintings from art history with images of contemporary icons of power, either royalty or politicians. And I'm often using images that I find direct from the media. And what I do is I distort the images to change the meanings, and then I'm changing the meanings that you see in the media, but I'm also changing the meanings that you would have found had you looked at the art historical painting. And what interests me is that further recycling of these meanings occurs if the media itself picks up the images I have made. For example, when the Evening Standard wrote about the painting of Meghan and Harry, that you can see where they're in the chariot together, they actually referred, the first time they wrote about it, they referred to it as a panegyric offering, which in fact the catalogue, you'll see some catalogues at the back, the art critics picked up on that. Probably because she's noticed that, panegyric offering means in praise of someone, but this is not meant to be in praise of. It's quite a critical painting if you look at it carefully, because she's wearing a bath towel, in fact, or it's meant to be a bath towel. And there's also, in the corner, there's a clapperboard. And what I'm doing is I'm referring to her TV series Suits, where she was often in steamy sex scenes wearing just a bath towel. Oh, because the director made me do it, she said. So she's, as a royal, is now having to leave behind her acting career, but because it doesn't work well as a royal to have that, whereas I'm throwing the spotlight on it. So I think it's interesting that the media themselves, I think, have kind of a bit misunderstood my change of meaning. That's a long answer to your question. Any other questions?
Well, I think you touched on a number of points I was thinking of going to raise to you. I mean, obviously, all of you, depending on how much your knowledge is in, actually all of the pictures here are based on traditional works of art from Goya to Fragonard, my favourite Fragonard, to give me some more, I'm running out.
Yeah, the ones in the chariots are after Tiepolo. He's a Rococo fresco painter, and he just puts everyone in chariots in the sky, and then just puts them all over the ceilings.
It's that one and that one.
in Italian villas.
And the meanings that are in the original paintings are all subplots that Annie is then exploiting and then layering with the new characters and her new observations. So pick up the catalogue and have a look, because all of those meanings are in here, so you can compare them and then compare Annie's point of view subsequently.
Can I say a bit more on that?
Of course, please do.
I was just going to say that in the catalogue, in the essay, if you have the time to read it, the art critic Anna McNay, she's saying that yes, the work is about satire, as Martin's pointed out, but she says that it's also about what art critics use the term reinterpretation of classical or earlier iconic works. And so, of course, when you reinterpret something, the new version is different. And she says that causes you to think again and look differently at the original painting, which is what I want, and to look differently and think again at the contemporary power icons that are with us, all the time. There's also the idea of the political cartoon. You could say these are caricatures and that some of them make political cartoons. That why can't a political cartoon be a piece of fine art? So that's an idea that goes throughout the work. And I get inspiration from looking at these old master paintings because I love them, but then I'm also linking with the lives and dramas of the characters of the past. But at the same time, it gives the art history a relevance for today. So it kind of works, both ways. In my paintings, and the titles are in the catalogues, I always include the name of each painting that I'm referring to. I'll just give you 2 examples for tonight, and that's probably enough. The Boris painting, we've got Boris in a skirt made of the Union Jack standing on a Russian tank. That's after a painting called Inquisition Tribunal by Goya, where the people who are being inquisited were forced to wear these really tall, pointy hats. So that's where that comes from.
Oh no, that's Trump.
Oh, sorry, that's
not Boris.
Sorry, the Boris one is after Miss Lala at the Cirque Fernando. That's right, by Degas. It's after a female acrobat in a circus.
Yes.
He's pole dancing, isn't he?
Yeah, that was the inspiration for that one. It was a female acrobat in the circus, and it was a Trump one where he's got the pointy hat. That's from Inquisition Tribunal by Goya. That's it.
No, I think I'll go through the proceedings of the evening, shall I? And is there anything else you wanted to specific to raise? Anyway, so the evening is not over. I'm going to give you a few minutes now to charge your glasses, get a drink, have a wee, cigarette, all those sort of things. Now don't go away, because we have also got Jude Karen Montague is going to be having a chat with Annie in about 10-15 minutes or so, I think. Is that right, Jude?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. And we've also got that incredibly dynamic duo, Mr. Patrick Griffin, who's just disappeared in front of me, and Dr. Joel Boss will be also interrogating Annie on her inspirations a little later in the evening. So chairs will stay out, so grab a few chairs. We'll give you a shout when that's going to happen. But otherwise, for now, please mingle, have a look at the works. Please pick up the catalogues, which are by the bar, and you yourselves can interrogate Annie. Annie Zamero, please. Ladies and gentlemen.